Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's Kiki, which is a breakdown of the lies of Lisa Rinna and Kyle Richards when it comes to this fake Kathy Aspen drama, you know what to do. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a kiki is always better with community. And also, don't forget to check out the description box below. We have a ton of goodies there and Shop the Love collection. Go ahead and treat yourself and enjoy. Okay. So with that, let's dive right on in. All right, you guys. So shout out to the real Andy of Beverly Hills. He did a video on, hearing that there's even less of a nothing burger than what we've already, decided Kathy's alleged Aspen meltdown was, that there actually was no big fight at, the Caribou Club, which I don't think any of us really bought that. But it even goes deeper that it's really, really nothing. And that it really is just Lisa Rinna making up these lies and then Kyle turning her back on her sister, as we've seen her do systematically, inciting and just blindly believing Lisa Rinna, what she's saying that her sister said about her. Very reminiscent of the way that, we've said Lisa Rinna sort of manipulated the group, but I don't even think she manipulated the group when it comes to LVP and Lucy Applegoosey Gate. I think that the group wanted a reason to go after Lisa Vanderpump. I think the group wanted to believe Lisa Rinna's lie about the whole planting of the story. Again, I think Lisa Rinna was the one who planted the story, and then she ran around and said it to Dorit and to Teddy and to Erica and to Kyle, blah, 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 blah. So it's very reminiscent of that pattern of, Lisa Rinna making something up against whoever she's going against, and then manipulating and using the other women to systematically bully and go after that person too. So it's very similar to that pattern. Again, I think that Kyle wanted a reason to go after Kathy. I think Kyle wanted to believe this. Why else would you blindly just believe Lisa Rinna and not have your sister's back the same way she never had her sister's back when it came to Kim versus Lisa Rinna as well, or Vidal Sassoon versus Lisa Rinna, or Yolanda Hadid versus Lisa Rinna, or Denise Richards versus Lisa Rinna, and the list goes on and on and on. So, yes, I now want to do a deeper dive into why I believe that it really just is Lisa Rinna lying this whole entire time, and then Kyle turning her back on her sister and just co-signing the lies. Okay, so let's dive in, and I will go through each one. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so number one, as we've said, Lisa Rinna is the only person who allegedly heard Kathy Hilton say the N-word, do a homophobic slur. And also, Lisa Rinna is the only person who allegedly heard Kathy Hilton going off on Kyle and going off about the other women. So even beyond the whole racial homophobic stuff, Lisa Rinna is the only person who allegedly heard Kathy Hilton saying that she's going to destroy Kyle, that she wants to take down Bravo and NBC, which we all know at this point that's pretty much too on the nose. Like, you made that up after the fact, girl. Come on. Went after the other girls and all this other stuff. So even beyond that, Lisa Rinna is literally the only person who was saying that she heard this and allegedly saw this. Nobody else, right? Nobody else. So that is red flag number one. When it comes to that as well, Lisa Rinna is saying that she had the wherewithal to be texting with Erica a blow-by-blow of what Kathy Hilton was allegedly saying. In the text exchange, again, never mentioned anything about Kathy saying anything that was racist, never mentioned that Kathy said anything that was homophobic, and she also never mentioned anything specifically that Kathy was saying about Kyle. So we don't actually know what Kathy allegedly was saying in real time, if we're even believing that these text messages were sent in real time, right? Why didn't you say exactly what Kathy was saying? Like, wouldn't you be like, hey girl, Kathy just said this. Kathy just called Kyle that. Kathy just called you this. Kathy just called me this. In the text exchange, it only just said, oh, Kathy has vitriol for her sister or blah, blah. It was just like some very generic BS stuff. She never said exactly what Kathy was saying. And if you also notice, she never said that Kathy said anything about the other girls. She only said that Kathy said something about the other girls after the fact, when Dorit brings it up. Oh, was Kathy the only said something about, was it only about Kyle? She goes, no, about you guys too. But in your exchange, in your alleged Aspen fake receipts, in your exchange with Erica, you never mentioned that. Why didn't you mention exactly what Kathy was saying instead of saying very generic catch-alls? And how come you never mentioned that Kathy was saying anything about the other women until later? Did you make that up just to make it sound worse for Kathy? Again, you're caught in some lies. And also in that point, you guys, if Lisa Rinna had the wherewithal to be texting with Erica, why did she not have the wherewithal to press record on her phone? We all know how snaky and manipulative and evil Lisa Rinna is. So if she had the wherewithal to be texting Erica a blow by blow, why didn't she record it? Now, we all know she came out a little too late. You know what I mean? You can't come out last week saying you have recordings, but yet you've never actually produced a recording. So again, it's just your word that these recordings exist. There's actually no proof. Okay. Now, number 2, Garcelle, Sutton, Crystal, and even Kyle herself all said that they didn't know exactly what made Kathy upset. They didn't really see it. There was speculation that there was something about a conga line that she was upset about, but nobody had anything that made any tangible sense where Kathy would have a meltdown, blow up, epic situation, right? And even if it was the conga line, what does that have to do with Kyle? Sure, Kathy could have been, a little irritated by all of the poking and the poking and the poking and the poking and the poking. But the whole conga line thing doesn't even exactly directly go with against anything Kyle would have done. So why would Kathy have this huge freak out and go crazy about Kyle over some conga line stuff? That also doesn't make sense. So everyone's rendition and everyone's recollection of what happens, it's kind of just like Kathy was tired, she got pissed, she wanted to go home. None of it was like this explosiveness. None of it was like there was this showdown at the Caribou Club. None of it was she had this huge epic meltdown, right? None of that. So that also kind of goes into the whole idea that nothing really happened. Like, it really wasn't this big, horrible meltdown fight that Bravo was trying to erase, that NBC is trying to protect Kathy. Like, none of that actually makes any sense. Now, I know you guys are saying, well, maybe there was the whole DJ situation. Just like the conga line, right? Why would Kathy rip Kyle apart about what a DJ did or did not do? That also doesn't make any sense. And the whole narrative about she wanted to listen to a Michael Jackson, Billie Jean song and then she got mad also to me points to the fact that this is a lie. Because again, it's just that sneaky manipulation of trying to do a dig at Kathy. Oh, you were friends with Michael Jackson? You want a Michael Jackson song? Dig, dig, dig. Again, as we say in the business, it's too on the nose. When you do something that's too on the nose, the work is showing. The work is showing. Okay. Number 3, and this goes into, again, why it doesn't make sense that Kathy would be so upset about a conga line or about a DJ. Her previous demeanor does not track with what Lisa Rinna is trying to say about her. Let's remember in the Sprinter van on the way there, when she was wearing the khaki pants, she was cool. She was like, whatever. Kyle was the one who had an issue with what she was wearing, not Kathy. And then Rinna was the one who brought up Kris Jenner and wearing a blazer and she had to go and blah, 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 just name dropping all day long, right? But what Kathy said, her demeanor, she was calm, she was cool, everything was chill. And she said, well, you know what? If I don't get in, then you guys go ahead and you guys have fun and do your thing. Does that sound like someone who's high maintenance? Does that sound like someone who is entitled? Does that sound like someone who's trying to control you? No, it sounds like someone who's very almost like maternal. That's like, okay, girls, if I can't get in the club, you guys go and have fun. So her demeanor doesn't track to what they're trying to say now. There was some blow up about a DJ, a blow up about a conga line. She lost it. She was upset. That doesn't make sense. Also, what doesn't track? Kathy's demeanor when it came to the bartender with the tequila. Now, that was a moment where we knew Kathy was very hurt and she was very pissed off because Lisa Rinna was trying to get the Kendall Jenner's 818 tequila. The girls were being dismissive. And like Kathy said, Kyle said nothing and just allowed it. Now, the way Kathy treated the bartender was with respect and completely normal. She was like, hey, I hate to do this myself, but like, could you serve my tequila? Like, isn't that what we're here for? Hello? Isn't that what we have the whole setup? Like, could you serve my tequila? And like, could you put it out there and blah, 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 blah. Kathy was actually really nice and normal. Quiet as it's kept, I might have popped off a little bit more than Kathy did. If I have a tequila and we know that we're contracted to do this scene, and in this scene, you're supposed to be repping my tequila and you're not doing your job, I probably would have had a little bit more of an attitude than Kathy did. And I'm not a Hilton. Okay, let's call a thing a thing. Kathy was actually really nice. She was like, hey, you know what? I hate to do, I don't want to have to do this myself. I hate doing it myself, but like, could you do it or whatever? The bartender was completely unfazed. She was even kind of laughing. She was like, yeah, I got you. Here you go, blah, 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 blah. Kathy is, she's upset because she's been systematically disrespected. She's been systematically bullied, and her sister Kyle is not having her back. Like Garcelle said, Kyle was not validating her sister as she should have in that moment, particularly for someone who is constantly crying and breaking down, feeling like her sisters don't validate her, right? I'm talking to you, Kyle. So we then see Kathy leave, right? Kathy then leaves. She's upset. She's gone. She's out of there. Kyle is the one who is now crying at the bar. Kyle is the one who is now crumbling, as she always does. Whenever Kyle doesn't get her way, or whenever Kyle feels whatever it is, she acts like a child and she cries and she shakes and she gets all weird, right? And the bartender herself is kind of like, you need a tissue? And it's kind of like laughing and like hands Kyle a tissue. Does that track with the whole, when Kathy doesn't get her way, she freaks out and have meltdowns and screams at people? Also, weren't they trying to say that Kathy had said something derogatory towards the bartender in the very beginning of all this stuff? Remember, they were trying to say, oh, Kathy went off on the DJ, she went off on the bartender, she went off on Sutton's like hairstylist or something like that. Sutton's hairstylist or whoever it is has never come forward, a friend of a friend of a friend who nobody actually has ever seen, just saying that they're a source. That's not a source. I could be like, I'm a friend of a friend of a friend of Sutton's hairstylist and make up a lie. Am I the source? You see what I'm saying? So no physical person has ever come forward on Sutton's team saying this happened. No DJ has ever come forward. Nobody else at the club said they saw this. And from what we saw with our own two eyes, and it wasn't editing because Kathy had already left. So we can't blame this on editing. Kathy had already left. What we saw with our own two eyes was the bartender was cool as a cucumber, kind of laughing at Kyle the way we all are, being like, chick, you need a tissue? Because you're crying because your sister, left? You need a tissue like Candace, right? So again, that doesn't even track. Kathy did not get her way at the Hatch store. Lisa Rinna tried to clown her. The bartender was serving not her tequila. She never once popped off at the bartender. She was actually a lot more respectful to the bartender than a lot of people would have been. She was more respectful to the bartender in Aspen than Lisa Rinna was to the people at her fake Lisa Rinna beauty launch. Remember when Lisa had her like second or third or fourth Rinna beauty launch party and it was only the cast and those people were setting up the bar and she was really disrespectful to them? She's like, well, I'm going to need a real bartender. I want to taste this. I need real lemons, blah, blah, blah. What are you doing? Lisa Rinna was more disrespectful to the bartenders and to the people helping her at her event than Kathy was to the bartender who was not using her tequila in Aspen. So let's call a thing, Lisa Rinna. Again, that lie has been debunked. Kathy's demeanor and about the whole situation does not track with this fake narrative that Lisa Rinna and Kyle is trying to put out there about her. Okay. Number 4, Teddi going on the defense on her podcast. If nothing says I'm lying and I'm guilty, than enlisting the likes of Teddi Mellencamp to be the person who was quote unquote confirming your story, I don't know what is. To me, when you're ready to scrape the bottom of the barrel and you have to get Teddi Mellencamp to be the person who's co-signing your story, you might as well just say, guess what? I'm lying. Number 1, Teddi, were you even in Aspen? You never, I don't know if she said 100%. My gut says you weren't even there. So how are you confirming and saying what is the truth when you weren't there? That right there shows you that you're just repeating back what Lisa Rinna said. You're just repeating back what Kyle said, Lisa Rinna said. Again, it all just goes back to what Lisa Rinna said. If you weren't there, Teddi, shut up. I wasn't there. That's why I'm not saying it's the truth. I'm saying allegedly, rumored. I'm also just a blogger. Teddi, you have a totally different situation and a totally different dynamic with these women. You're trying to get your diamond back. You're not going to get it back. Chill out. You know, you weren't there, Teddi. So you don't actually know what the truth was. But the fact that Lisa Rinna and Kyle Richards are enlisting you to be their quote unquote confirmation, that tells me everything I need to know right there. That tells me every single thing I need to know right there. Okay. Also, just because you say something is the truth, Teddi, does not make it the truth. Again, I could start a podcast and be like, hey, so the truth of what happened in Aspen is blah, 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 blah. Was I there? No. But Lisa Rinna told me. See? You're lying, Teddi. Pipe down. Number 5. The way Mauricio acted on the plane, he was unfazed, unbothered with the whole, where's Kathy? I promise you, if Kathy had attacked Kyle at the club, if Kathy had went on this rampage, Mauricio would have known. Either A, he would have been at the house and he would have seen it. But if he wasn't at the house when he got back, he would have had seen some of like the remnants, because Lisa's Rinna saying she's knocking on things and she's, breaking glasses and she's going nuts. We all know Kyle, it just falls apart at the drop of a dime. You know that he would have heard about it all night. Kyle would have been crying and shaking and doing all her, the theatrics. Mauricio would have known something happened. Whether he stayed at the Aspen house or not, he would have known something happened, but he was completely shocked. Like, where's Kathy? Right. Where is Kathy? Because nothing happened. Kathy was just tired of being bullied and not stood up for by her sister. Point blank, period. Okay. Number 6. Kyle's own retelling of what happened in Aspen kind of proves that nothing happened in Aspen. So according to Kyle, this is a situation. So according to Kyle, right, Kathy gets upset about something. She wants to leave. And being upset honestly could mean maybe she's freaking tired. Maybe she's just ready to go. Because when these women say Kathy is high maintenance, Kathy was upset, Kathy is demanding, I take it with a grain of salt. I take it with a grain of salt because as we've seen, these women will say Kathy's high maintenance, she's pretentious, she's all this stuff. And then we watch what's going on and it's the complete opposite. Oh, she asked for grilled corn? She must be high maintenance. Oh, she's wearing slippers and sweatpants to the airport? Oh, she must be pretentious. Oh, she wanted utensils so she could eat? Oh, she's so demanding. Like, y'all have to stop with that. So anytime they say Kathy was so upset and she was this and that, even when Crystal says it, even when Sutton says it, even when Garcelle says it, because quiet as kept, the three of them were low-key also not having Kathy's back. They have her back now, but on Aspen, low-key, they were also kind of shady to her. Let's just be honest. Let's call a thing. They were also kind of shady towards her. So even when they say it, I take it with a grain of salt. Because again, Kathy's demeanor and what is actually going on is not in alignment with the narrative that they're trying to paint about her. Just because you call me something doesn't mean I am something, right? So back to Kyle's own retelling of what happened in Aspen and at the Caribou Club. So she's saying Kathy gets upset. Let's say Kathy's upset and she wants to go home. Well, Kyle put on her big girl panties and like any normal person would say, hey, you know what? My friends aren't here yet. I'm just going to hang out here and I'm going to wait for my friends, but you can go home. Normal. What's the problem? She never once said, Kathy went off on me about this. Kathy and I were fighting about this. I was scared to tell Kathy that I was going to stay. Kathy got really mad at me because I wanted to stay. Kathy was demanding that I was leaving. No, in your mind, Kyle, Kathy saying, hey, let's leave, maybe is bigger than what you think it is. I don't understand the whole Sutton thing when she's like, Kathy said, you know, if you're really my friend, you'll leave with me. Maybe she meant that. Maybe she meant, hey, I want to leave. I'm upset. I'm not feeling good, X, Y, and Z. If you're my friend, you're going to take me home. You're going to leave with me, right? If it were me, if I was at a club or a dinner or whatever with my friend and she's upset or whatever the case may be, and she's like, I need you. If you're my friend, you'll leave with me. I would probably leave with her because what is more important, hanging out at this party for a couple of hours or being there for my friend who needs me? But that's just me. And it still goes more into Kathy being hurt than Kathy being angry and upset. If I say to my friend, you know, I need to leave. If you're my friend, leave with me. That's because I'm hurt. That's because something's going on. Not because I'm angry or mad or upset or pissed. You know what I mean? So again, everybody's retelling of Aspen makes it really sounds more like Kyle was making something out of nothing. And Kathy was either tired, upset, or hurt or something like that. But it wasn't this huge, big blowout that they've been lying to us about for the last 6 months, right? So again, what is the issue there? What is the issue, even in your own retelling? So all of this says to me, and then I have my last point, which I think is the biggest point. So I'll do some more and then I'll get into the last point, which is my biggest point. So all of these points really tell me a couple of things. It reinforces that Lisa Rinna is the only one who allegedly heard Kathy say anything that was derogatory about the other ladies, about Kyle, about anybody really, and that everything else has just been hearsay. Kyle never heard Kathy say anything derogatory about her family, or the other women. She just chose to believe whatever Lisa Rinna told her without going to her sister and talking to her, without giving her sister the benefit of the doubt. She just chose to believe that the gospel was coming out of Lisa Rinna's mouth against her sister. And that just is what it is. And that leads me to my last point, my point number 7, which really hones on this. Kyle, out of her own mouth, said that she saw Rinna texting Erica. And she was with Erica, and she saw that Rinna was texting Erica, and she went and was looking at Erica's text, and she goes, "Oh, that I really don't want to go home. Somehow this is going to be my fault." Remember that? Remember in her confessional? She said she saw Rinna texting Erica and on Erica's phone, and she said, "Oh, I really don't want to go home because somehow this will be my fault." Did you guys catch it? It means that in that actual moment, you did not actually have any beef with your sister. Because if you had beef with your sister, you would not say, "Somehow this will end up being my fault." That means it's not my fault right now. If you actually had a beef with your sister, you would say, "Oh, she's so mad at me. She said, you know what I mean? She had gone off on me in the club. Now she's continuing going off on me. She's mad at me about X, Y, Z. We were fighting about X, Y, Z. I don't want to go home because Kathy was saying this about me, blah, 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 blah." But you said the reason why you didn't want to go home was because you were reading who was saying to Erica? Lisa Rinna. All roads lead to Lisa Rinna saying what Kathy may or may not have said, and then Kyle, Dorit, Erica, and Diana willfully, if not in on it, they were either in on it or they willfully chose just to repeat everything Lisa Rinna told them as if it were the truth. And that is dirty as hell. If somebody came to me and said, "Your sister said all this stuff about you," the first thing I would say is, "Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know." Then I'm going to call my sister and be like, "This chick said you said this about me. What's up? Let's talk about it." And then I'm going to side with my sister because she's my sister. To me, everything points to Lisa Rinna is nothing but a big fat liar. And Kyle willfully, if not actively engaged in, spreading the lies about Kathy. Now, it also shows that pattern. What Lisa Rinna did to Yolanda with Munchausen's disease, what Lisa Rinna did to Vidal Sassoon and broke her all the way down, what Lisa Rinna did to Lisa Vanderpump. You know, we already went over this with the whole Lucy where she spreaded a lie and everybody chose to believe it and then spread it as if it's the truth. You know, what Lisa Rinna has systematically done to so many people, to so many families, to so many marriages. It's a lot and it's disgusting. But all signs point to that Lisa Rinna really just played everybody and lied about a lot of stuff. Now, do I think Kathy may have said something about Kyle? Sure. Do I think it's as deep as Lisa Rinna makes it out to be? No. Do I actually care? No. I don't care that Kathy said something about Kyle. Let her talk. I don't care. Say what you want to say, Kathy. Get it off your chest. Given everything that Kyle has said and done to not just Kathy, but to numerous people, to Kim, to a lot of people, right? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. You just choose to have Lisa Rinna's back. You choose to take whatever this woman says out of her mouth as if it's the truth and then spread it as slander against your own sister and then have months and months and months of nothing. There's no proof. There's no proof. Do I think Kathy Hilton had some epic meltdown where she's punching things and breaking her glasses and Lisa Rinna is so scared she has to lock herself in the room? No. No. I don't. None of it tracks. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that all signs point to the fact that we already knew that Aspen's Kathy's alleged Aspen meltdown was a big nothing burger, but it's even deeper than that, because now it seems as though it really was just Lisa Rinna lying and then systematically spreading that lie. And then Kyle and all the other girls just willfully agreeing to spread the lie, where nothing even happened at the Caribou Club that was even worth mentioning, right? And that nothing Kathy said in the Sprinter van was that deep. And honestly, I don't think Kathy, at this point, I don't even think Kathy said anything about any of the other girls. I think Kathy may have said something about Kyle, but I don't think she said anything about the other girls, really. Because why didn't Lisa Rinna mention it when she was texting Erica? She only mentioned Kathy being upset about Kyle. You see what I'm saying? None of it tracks. But I want to know what you guys think, okay? Put it down in the comment box below. Are you with me in believing that this whole thing from jump has just been one big scheme and scam from Lisa Rinna, and Kyle has been an active participant, and now we're seeing all of their lies exposed? The way Kyle was reacting and responding, it seemed as though she heard something, she saw something, but as it turns out, it was just Lisa Rinna. So put it down in below what your thoughts are. But before you do, you guys know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and share this with a friend, because a kiki is always better with community. Also, don't forget to shop the Love Collection and check out the description box below. We have a ton of free goodies down there. So with that, you guys, until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Bye!
Welcome to Sugar Pills, a practical guide to self-care, where your host, writer, actor and producer Candy Washington helps you live a more joyful life with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. Be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review and join the conversation on Instagram @Candy Washington. Let's go!